Hi everyone, Anthony Morganti here. Recently, with little fanfare, Adobe snuck a new feature into the current version of Photoshop. More specifically, this new feature is in Camera Raw. It's called a depth range mask. And you're probably thinking, well, wait a minute. There's been a depth range mask available in Photoshop and Lightroom for some time. That is true. But with this current release of Photoshop, Adobe changed the depth range mask, and in my opinion, they've made it much more useful. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to use it. Now, as you can see, I have an image opened up into Camera Raw, and you probably already know that if you open up a RAW file into Photoshop, it will automatically open up into Camera Raw. This new feature not only works on RAW files, but it will work on non-RAW files as well. And towards the end of this video, I'll demonstrate how to use it on a non-RAW file. Now, I have this image. I did do some editing to it. I straightened it with the crop tool, and the only edits I did to it other than that was I adjusted highlight, shadows, whites, and blacks. So I'd like to try out this new depth range mask. To get to it, of course, we're going to go to masking, and then we're going to go to where it says range. And if I roll that open, you'll notice there's three different range masks. There's a color range, a luminance range, and this depth range. Now, as I mentioned, depth range has been here for a while, but most often you're going to find it grayed out, because for it to work, the image used to have some depth range data embedded in it. And most mirrorless cameras and DSLRs don't do that. So you'd find that this depth range option would be grayed out. In order to use it, you would have to have an image that was taken with a phone, and probably a phone that was in portrait mode, and definitely a phone that had more than one lens. That's how it would create the depth range. Most phones nowadays, they'll have a kind of wide angle lens, they'll have a lens in the middle, and then they'll have another focal length that's a telephoto. And between those three different focal lengths, they're able to build a depth map of the scene when you take the portrait image. And then when you take that portrait image into Photoshop, this depth range option would be active. Now, you don't need that. Obviously, this image was taken with a mirrorless camera, Nikon Z8. There is no depth range information in this file, but I'm able to create a depth range mask. So just click on it, and you'll notice now we have the mask up here, but there's really nothing going on with the image yet, and I have an eyedropper. What you do with the eyedropper is you just click anywhere in the image, and when you click, it will build the depth range mask. So I'm just going to click in the foreground here, and when I do, you'll notice I have this red overlay, and it's mainly towards the parts of the scene that are closest to camera. Now, I could show you this depth range map by clicking this little checkbox here, and now you'll see it. Now, just to make it a little more obvious or a little more easier to understand, I'm going to click on the sky. We know the sky's way up here, right? Now, what you'll see is varying shades of gray, and then you have that red overlay. Where we have white in the foreground here, that's the part of the scene that is closest to camera. Lighter gray is a little further away, medium gray is a little further away, darker gray is even further away, and then if I click somewhere else, black is furthest away. So we have from white to black and varying shades of gray, and as it gets darker, we're getting further away from the camera. Now, where I click, we get this red overlay. That is telling us that that is the area that's going to be edited. So if I move any sliders, that's the part that's going to get most of the edit. Now, I say most of the edit. Let me click over here in the foreground, and we have these are little lights that are on the dock. So those have the red overlay because those are closest to the camera. So if I did do an adjustment, it would affect that. But you'll also notice that, let's say I click here, you'll notice that it's kind of affecting other areas. So I have this part in the foreground that's like, a darker red, and then it's getting lighter, and then it's kind of darker again. So we have this kind of depth range. And if we go over here on the right, we could see that the depth map range is here. More specifically, this part right in the middle, this is the part that is going to get 100% of the adjustment. So if I kind of move this around, you'll notice as I move it to the right, I'm pushing 100% of the adjustment further away from the camera. As I pull it to the left, I'm going to put 100% of the adjustment closer to the camera. Now, you'll notice there's two lines on either side. This is the fall off or the feathering. So 100% of the adjustment's going to be in this area that's in the middle, and then it's going to fall off to the foreground. This is going towards the foreground when you go to the left. And if I move this to the right, you can see how I'm pushing it away from the foreground. So it's kind of like feathering it. And then on this side, I'm putting the fall off closer towards where the actual center box is. So I have less fall off. I could affect the width of the depth by going like here and making this box wider, by encompassing more or less like this. So you can see how you can modify this. Hopefully this makes sense. And again, this middle box is getting 100% of the adjustment, and I could make it narrowed in from the foreground or narrowed in from the background, and I could change the fall off with those sliders there. So let me just totally reset this, and we'll add a new depth map. So or depth range mask, I should say, so I could show you how to specifically use it. Now, right now, you don't have a depth map because I didn't click anywhere. To build the depth map, you have to click somewhere. You could click anywhere. And one thing I want to kind of emphasize is you'll notice that wherever I click, it's not changing the actual depth map. It's just changing the part of the image that will get the actual adjustment you do. So wherever you click, it's not changing the grays and the black and the white. It's just changing where the part of the image that's going to get your adjustment. So if I click here, let me turn off the depth range map. And now we have that red overlay there. And if I go to say, let's say light, and I start to move it, you can see how it starts to change. Now you see how it's only making those areas darker or brighter. Now, like any other mask, I could add to the mask or subtract from the mask. So let's just say I wanted to make this front part of the dark lighter, but it's affecting back here as well. I don't want it to affect back there. So I would subtract from the mask, and you could use any other mask. I'll use a brush, and I'm going to subtract from the mask this part over here that it's grabbing too. So you can modify this mask like any other mask. And I don't know why I would want to do that, but let's just say that I did, and I'd be able to make it brighter. So hopefully that gives you an idea how this works. Let's try just a different image, just so I could better show you how you might want to use this. Let me, go over here, and I have this image here. Let me get rid of the film strip by clicking there. Now again, I already have a couple masks here. Let's just get rid of all of them. All right, so we're just going to use the depth range masks. So we'll click on range, we'll go to depth range. Now again, it didn't build anything yet because I haven't clicked anywhere. So if I click on show depth map, there isn't one. I could click anywhere, and it's going to build the exact same depth range mask no matter where I click. I'll click on the sky. So now you can see it built the mask. So we have some areas in the foreground, that's the whitest parts. A little further away is lighter gray, a little further away is medium gray, the further away is a darker gray, and the furthest away is black. So you can see. So now if I want to do something with this area in the foreground, let's say, I can. So we have the red overlay there, and maybe in this foreground area, we'll just make it a little brighter. And maybe we'll go to color and we'll make it a little more saturated. Now, if I want to add another one, I could do that. So I could go up here, create a new mask, and I'll create a new depth range mask. And for this one, I'll click this area here, and maybe here I'll make it a little brighter. And maybe we'll add some contrast, and we'll add some more color. So you could just build these masks. Now for the sake of argument, let's just reset this. And if I go back and try, keep doing that. Let's try a third one. So here we have definitely some stuff that is in the foreground, stuff in the midground, stuff that's in the background. So we'll go to range, depth range. And then again, it doesn't build the mask until you actually click somewhere. It doesn't matter where you click. It's going to build the same exact depth range map when you do it. So then you'll click there. We could show this depth map. And let's just say I wanted to do this area here, but not the whole thing like that, right? So let's just click. I want to do just this area here. Like, let me try to turn this off and show you. More specifically, I want to do this area that's like right in the kind of in the middle. And you notice when I click there, it's selecting the sky as well. So I could come in here and modify this. I could take this in like this, and then I could take it in like this. See how it's pushing it away, and then I could change the fall off so it's not as feathered, and bring it in. So now that I have that part selected, I could turn off the depth map, and then I could come in here and maybe make it a little brighter, and maybe we'll go to effects and we'll add some clarity and some texture to that middle part. So we're just doing that. So that's how you would basically use this. And it's still probably not one of the more common masks that we would use. I mean, more often we're probably going to use a subject sky or background mask. We'll use landscape masks. We could pick specifically what we want with the landscape mask. So if I wanted to come in here and I wanted to do the architecture and the vegetation and the artificial, not the artificial ground, but just the architecture and vegetation, and then I could create a single mask for that, and I could probably more effectively do whatever I wanted to do here than using the depth range mask. But there still will be probably a situation where you may want to use a depth range mask. Now let's totally get out of here. And I mentioned that you don't have to do this on a RAW file. You could do it on non-RAW files. So in this folder, I have a JPEG. So I'm going to take this JPEG and I'm going to open it up into Photoshop. And because it's a JPEG, it opens up right into Photoshop. But I could still access this feature by going up to Filter, then down to Camera Raw Filter. And when you're in Camera Raw, you access it like you always do. Go to Masking, go to Range. You'll see Depth Range is active. Click on that. Click anywhere on the image to build the depth map. You could look at the depth range map by clicking this little checkbox. And again, the blackest part is furthest away and the darker gray is like a little closer. Medium gray is a little closer. Lighter gray is closer. And white is closest. And wherever you click, that's the part you're going to actually edit. So if we turn off the depth map, you can see what we're editing there. And it helps for me to like maybe refine it to have the depth map on. And then I could like better maybe refine exactly what it is I want to edit. Something like that. Then you could turn off the depth map when you actually do your adjustments. So we'll go to light and we'll maybe make it a little brighter in there. And then we'll go down to effects and we'll add some texture, and we'll go to color and we'll add some color, saturation as well. So I just affected this middle part of the image with the depth range mask. Okay, that's it. That's the new feature found in the current shipping version of Photoshop. So it's not just in beta, it's in the current shipping version of Photoshop. And as I mentioned, Adobe just snuck it in there. Most of us didn't even know it was there until we stumbled across it. Hopefully, what I showed you in this video will help you use it and help you get a better edit. Thank you, everyone who watches my videos. I really do appreciate it. I'll talk to you guys soon.